Welcome to the Freedom Chronicles.
Definitely an antisocial type.
Only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger.
Hi, perhaps you recognize me. It's your favorite president.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
We got a loudspeaker here, and when we go into battle, we play music very loud.
With a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Freedom Chronicles. I'm your host, Mike Imbasciani. Thank you for joining us. We are, of course, broadcasting from the Brian Chapman State Farm bunker right here in Southwest Florida. And like a good neighbor, Brian Chapman State Farm is there for all of the insurance needs that you have for your very own bunker. Give his office a call at 941-625-9998 or visit the office at 2040 Tamiami Trail in Port Charlotte. And as you notice, I have this very fancy ultra mega hat on right now. Oh yes, courtesy of the Charlotte County Trump Club. So I got to give a shout out and just to let everybody know, anybody in the Charlotte County, Southwest Florida area, go check out the Charlotte County Trump Club. They meet at the Twisted Fork every second Tuesday of the month from 11:30 to 1:30, a little luncheon meeting, some different speakers. I'm going to be a speaker one of these days. I'm still waiting for the call, but I'll be there soon. But you can go check them out. It's Charlotte County Trump Club. So unfortunately, Mr. Lovejoy is a little under the weather today. So Ken is not here. However, we have a great guest. His name is Jason Brunt, and you may have seen, it even ended up on the Gateway Pundit. He's been going viral. His video on YouTube has 13,000 views already, and he just started his organization, Florida Straits. And that was because he's just a concerned father who gave this heartfelt speech at a school board. Right here, you always say, well, it's not going to happen in my neighborhood. Well, folks, even right here in the free-loving state of Florida, it's starting to happen. So we're going to play this clip and talk to Jason. Check this out. This is from the Sarasota County School Board meeting.
Hello, I'm Jason Brunt. I'm a dad of two, an uncle of two in your school district. And as a parent, I am deeply concerned about the growing problem of alienation and segregation in our schools. For generations, certain groups of people have been ostracized and shamed, including those that identify as LGBTQ+. Now, while we should be learning about our mistakes, many districts, including this one, continue to encourage discrimination and dangerous virtue signaling. And I'd like to share a story about my son who was bullied by a group of children who all identified as LGBTQ+, and their allies. They called him a bigot and harassed him for not wearing rainbow colors to support a TikTok trend that they were trying to pull a gay pride stunt in the school. I asked my son to report this to his teachers and counselors, and his response was, "Dad, I can't. They're all against me. The teachers and counselors have rainbow stickers anywhere. No matter what I do, I'm going to be in trouble because they're gay and I'm straight, and they can do whatever they want, and I will always be wrong." Quote, I have two other sons in the school system, and they've confirmed that their teachers and counselors display rainbow stickers everywhere. But do not listen to straight students who have complaints. This is causing harm and resentment among our children. We who are also trying to navigate the ever-changing pop culture circus in the schools, I'm asking for equal representation of the nuclear family and heterosexual values. Now, the argument is, well, that's been overrepresented for generations, and 15 to 20 years ago, you may have been correct. But in my most recent history, in my children's lifetime, corporatization, education, Hollywood movies, TV shows, commercials, way overrepresent one group and not another, including the schools. If there are safe spaces for the LGBTQ children, I would like to have straight spaces for our straight children, so that way they can feel comfortable going to a guidance counselor's office, knowing that the guidance counselor isn't promoting that they do not share any of their values. That is not a safe space for our straight children in any way, shape, or form. Now, percentage-wise, Gen Z identifies 20% as LGBTQ. So for every rainbow sticker that's in the schools, we should have 4 straight pride stickers. That would be accurate representation. Now, we're not asking for that. I'm asking for equal. I'm asking for every child to feel like they're safe. According to your gender diverse guidelines that was revised last year, you have everything from, transgender, gender roles, non-conforming, this, that, the other, somebody who identifies as a man, someone who identifies as a woman. Guess what's not listed here? man or woman. You know what else is in here? Bisexual, asexual, transsexual, no heterosexual. I think that we should have some heterosexual representation coming to our schools. I want my children to grow up thinking that everyone is equal and everyone is respected. Now, my group, Florida Straights, I am willing to provide all of the flags, all of the stickers, all of the stuff that you need, so that way we can have that representation. For every school that has an LGBTQ plus club, I want a straight club. I want kids to be able to go back and feel equal. Please.
Michelle Posey, Raina Benzini, please, let's keep the clapping to not. You can do your waving hands.
Well, we'll give the clapping here because Jason deserves it. And with us is Jason Brunt. Jason, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Mike. Thanks for having me tonight.
Very good. Thanks for coming on. And I mean, the people there clapping along, and they understand when you said there's everything except male and female, man and woman, these normal relationships. They're trying to shove it down everybody's throat. You see it in TV shows, you're seeing it everywhere, and now you're seeing it in these schools. What you have your organization, Florida Straights. Tell us how you started that and going into the school board meeting and the aftermath afterwards here.
Well, sure. It started a couple years back, actually, when the mask mandates is when we started meeting a couple of parents that were concerned with the way that the schools were basically completely ignoring the laws here in Florida and doing what they wanted to as a rogue basis. So that's how I started meeting a lot of these folks. Shortly, about a year or so after, is when my son had come home and told me about the problem that he was having through a TikTok trend. And this was back in the DeSantis-Disney feud, where they were doing the, let's say gay and wear our colors to school. He didn't want to. We have traditional values and we respect those values, and he chose not to go forward with that. And in return, of course, he started getting harassed, contacting the teachers, pretty much to no avail. School administration sidestepped and dismissed everything. So, we'll look into it. But of course,
kick it down the road.
Of course, kick the bucket. So decided to go to that school, Sarasota County School Board. So went there, and as you just heard, 3 minutes of what I thought was a respectful dialogue.
Yeah.
But within an hour of speaking, we started getting harassing phone calls to ourselves and to our employers, myself and my two brothers. We are listed on Sunbiz, so it's not too hard to find out who the principal officers are.
Right. So you essentially got doxxed by keyboard warriors out in the ether.
Oh goodness, yeah. We most of the people that are trying to attack us aren't even in the state of Florida.
Of course, yeah.
One of the groups is out of Pinellas County. We were able to identify them. They have posted everything about me personally, from a bankruptcy I had 10 years ago to a landscaping business that I ended up selling. So it's been pretty wild to see that, and I can only say that thank goodness I don't have a social media presence.
Yeah, well now you do under Florida Straights.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing. So you spoke for 3 minutes, a very, seemingly normal conversation of a parent being involved in their child's life, because, it used to be the people would make fun of the what small portion of gay people were in the school back in the day. And that wasn't right either. No. But now it is completely flipped, that all this, as Mr. Lovejoy, who again is not here today, would say, the Ku Klux Alphabet Clan, they all gang up with each other and go against the people that are the normal people of being straight, and they try to make those kids feel bad. And for this 3-minute dialogue you were in HR, you lost your job, and you said your brother lost his job, and your other brother, who hadn't even announced his job to anybody outside his family, almost lost his job, right?
Almost. I'm the one that lost the job.
Okay.
My other brother had a previous employer listed on his LinkedIn profile. So within minutes, they were attacking that employer. And that's when the employer had sent him the text message I'd show you guys, where it's like, what is going on?
What is happening?
And,
yeah.
Like, how is this even a thing right now?
Uh-huh.
And then my other brother, he was starting a job on Thursday. The school board meeting was on Tuesday. And that Tuesday evening, his new employer had called him and inquiring about that. So how these people knew that's some Ouija board psychic stuff.
It really is, because they're trying to do their homework. They've got these people that are digging into people's personal lives like that, and it's not right.
No, not at all. And as I was mentioning earlier, I mean, most of the folks that are attacking us via social media, phone calls, emails, and even some letters now, they're not even postmarked from Florida.
Yeah,
The
snail mail.
one group I
There's-
told you about, Indivisible Pro-Choice Pinellas. I know that they're based out of Florida and Pinellas
Right.
County, because that's
Yeah.
the group that came down here to Charlotte County
Right.
at the Charlotte County School Board as direct opposition to me.
Well, yeah, and that's what you were saying. It's
Yeah.
like they're not even members of
No.
this school board, this county,
Yep.
Sarasota County or even Charlotte County, and they're being bussed down to
Mhm.
these meetings to basically be that opposing voice.
Well, that's exactly it. It's a collective army that
Mm-hmm.
spans well beyond the districts. And seeing that Florida is kind of a hot spot right now, these people are very focused on making changes in our state that affect them none. Or, maybe they're trying to move down here like all of their neighbors did too, and they want to,
Right.
sugarcoat it for
Well,
their own
now,
arrival.
well, now they just said, Florida is a actively dangerous place for African Americans. And a couple years ago, again, when the first "Don't Say Gay" stuff started, they were trying to say, "Oh, well, yeah, Florida's an actively dangerous place for the gay community." Has anybody never been to Key West before?
Oh, goodness.
I think they're doing just fine. But even in your talk there, you're not saying to not have it. You're just asking for what they've been asking for, which is equality of, if there's a gay club, where's the straight club? If there's this gay flag, where's the straight flag? I mean, I'm going one further, and I mentioned this when we were on the radio last week. We have a flag that covers everybody, and it's called the American flag. That's the whole point of being in America. It's one nation under God, under that flag.
Mhm.
That's the point. And so, I mean, I give you props. You're at least trying to work with them and say, we just where's the straight flag?
Well, I mean, regardless of maybe my personal beliefs or whatnot,
Mhm.
when it comes to this subject, I believe in the Constitution above all.
Right.
And freedom of expression is protected by that Constitution,
Exactly.
so long as it doesn't interfere or prohibit somebody else's advancement. So I certainly don't want to silence anybody, because that would be contradicting myself on many different ways,
Right,
because I
free
am
speech.
a constitutionalist. But at the same token, and when I was writing the speech, I wanted to make sure that I got to tell you, I probably rewrote it about 4 different times, because I wanted to make sure that the language that I had spoke was not going to be perceived as hateful.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Which, you see how well that worked.
I could have gone up there and handed out Valentines and hugged everybody, and unfortunately, the folks on the other side of this equation, they don't want inclusion at all. They want full dominance.
They want
and
their
they
way
want
or
you
the
to be
highway.
silenced and shamed.
Yeah.
And it's not okay. It's not okay. And I understand a lot of the emails and such that I've been getting is, for generations we've been persecuted, and for generations, and I get that 100%. But my children are not generations old.
Right.
And to them, this has never been an issue.
Mhm.
Even me growing up in the 90s, it was a lot different from the 70s and 80s. There was a lot more acceptance. There was TV shows like In Living Color, where everybody was openly, made fun of one another and had a good time together.
You had
and
Jamie Foxx's Wanda.
Or what it was, the two twins that had the little funny hats on the top of their head around the world and back snap.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I feel like it was a better time than we're definitely living in now.
Yes.
Because those folks that I grew up with that maybe did receive some sort of backlash while they were younger, or had parents that had,
Right.
they're using our children as cannon fodder now. And these kids are innocent. They don't understand anything like that.
Right,
All
they
of the
don't.
TV shows that they've seen are inclusive. Everywhere that they go, no hate is allowed,
Right.
except if it's from their side to ours. And that's a problem. I had a lot of conversations. I've spoken with a lot of teachers. I've spoken with some other students. I've spoken with my children and other children. This is not something that I'm isolated in happening to. This happens on a very, very regular basis. And these teachers are afraid to come out and say anything about it because of the retribution.
Even if they agree. Yeah, they could agree with you, but they don't want the retribution of being fired, in their case, like you were.
Oh, fired, harassed,
Yeah.
doxxed. I mean, I got my first death threat about a week and a half ago. That was interesting. But these are the folks that are trying to lobby for legislative change, and they're not of quality material. They don't want bullying, yet they're some of the biggest bullies that we've ever seen.
Yes.
I guess
Well, not only that, I mean, when you look at what's happening with Target now, and you see, Ben, you can pull this up, this satanic trans stuff being sold at Target, and there are these reports, but there's this pin, which in this tweet that went along with it, the statement is true. Satan would definitely call a man she, because Satan is the author of confusion and hates the human body and soul. Christians who have thus far tricked themselves into thinking pronoun hospitality is a loving evangelistic tool should wake up to the fact that they've been dancing with the devil. And that's a pin that is for sale that says Satan respects pronouns, and they're designing things for Target. That same company is designing this pin that says homophobe headrest. Oh, but they just want, equality and inclusion.
Well, that looks like beheading.
Right, exactly.
I don't know how a guillotine is inclusive.
Well, because it's that fear-inducing idea of you have to agree with us, otherwise you're the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, even with what you said, it's still not good enough. It's not inclusion. It has to be their way or the highway, no matter what.
It'll never be good enough. It'll
No.
never be good enough, because that's not what their ultimate objective is.
Well, and you're seeing this, and Candace Owens tweeted this out and says, I cannot state enough how important it is for people to choose not to shop at Target. There's never been a company that has been more pro-transgenderism than Target. Shop anywhere else, because these are kids' clothes that they're trying to sell to children in Targets. That's, tucking and, the binder stuff and all of that. They're kids. Leave them alone. It's sick. And there was the announcement the other day that we have the story here. Yeah, Target made an emergency call yesterday after backlash for this tuck-friendly bathing suits and other Pride products. And they've talked about how some of these stores are being told, well, take it out of the front of the store where it had a huge area and just move it to the back of the store in a smaller area. That's still not getting rid of it, but it shows that they are scared of what people who can crash a Bud Light stock, which look at Anheuser-Busch now. Chad Prather tweeted this out today. Anheuser-Busch stock just crashed to its lowest trading value for all of 2023. This is what they get for going woke, and it's true. Year low. Good. That's what these people get. Go woke, go broke. You're trying to mess with kids. You're trying to mess with, all that is normal. Go broke, because that's what they deserve. And they don't want inclusion. They want control.
100%, 100%. And I think involving children in anything of a sexual nature is probably not going to be beneficial for their overall development.
No.
And encouraging things that lead to body mutilation or hormonal imbalances or chemical modifications. These are very devastating things for children. And when they get older, they're gonna look back, and some of those choices might not be the ones that they want to make.
Right. And no matter what, I mean, well, you can't get a tattoo unless you're over 18, but you can get the chop a dick off of me, no problem, at the age of 7, and it's sick. It is this genital mutilation that is happening. And no matter what, the facts are the facts that before transition or after transition, the suicide rate is still the same at about 40% for these transgender individuals. You want to have the mental illness conversation. That's the conversation that needs to be had with people, because, and Ken and I have talked about it on the show many times, it's not about the help that they want. It's about getting them the help that they need. It's not hateful to say that it is gender dysphoria. Eventually, these kids will also grow out of it. Statistically, that is shown. So to push these kids down that rabbit hole without, no matter what, this shouldn't be happening. Not without proper doctors looking at it, because any doctor that says, "Oh yeah, I'll do this surgery on a child," is messed up and should have their license pulled anyway. But it's also different than just dressing up as a transgender too, as opposed to going that far. So it's sad to see that this is happening, and it is happening here in Florida. So you have your organization, Florida Straights. When did you start that, and what are you trying to achieve with that?
Well, like I said, we were kind of grassroots movement. So a lot of little local school boards and a lot of folks, we communicated, the ways we did in the old days via telephones and text messages. Firm believer in grassroots actions as opposed to just keyboard warrioring. If you got 4 calluses on the tips of your 4 fingers, but you just can't walk out in the driveway without putting on a pair of flip-flops, and you probably need to get out on the ground a little bit more if you're passionate about this.
Right. Yeah.
You'd mentioned with the Target and Bud Light. fighting with your finances is great.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. But getting yourself out there and putting yourself in vulnerable positions to have your voice heard is going to get this mission more accomplished. Yes, sure, we're going to hit them in the pocket, but that buzz fades away, and then they can come on back with whatever that they want to do next with their next marketing campaign, and then just issue a subtle apology, and the cycle just keeps continuing. But what we're not doing is stopping it.
Yeah, right. You're not stopping it. And luckily, I think, because you've seen like little mini boycotts of Target before, whether it was the allowing women into or men into women's bathrooms and all of that, and eventually people just go back to shopping in Target.
Correct.
But because it has been so, they're going after the kids now. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're going after that generation. Don't mess with people's kids, man. You're a dad. You get it. So I'm not even a dad yet. Don't mess with kids. And that I think has been one of the biggest final nails in the coffin here, whether it's Bud Light and saying, no, it's enough's enough. And now with Target, I think enough will finally be enough. There are other options for people, and it's about finding that and sticking to it.
There is. And there's a lot of great organizations. So we started our organization, like I said, grassroots. It was just a collective of a bunch of folks together. And we decided that, hey, you know what? Because we had some people like, how can we donate? How can we help out? And we wanted to be official with it. So we went through the process and registered with the state of Florida. And we submitted our 501c3 application to the IRS, which can take anywhere from a couple of weeks to many, many months, depending on how many applications that they have.
And they're going to look at it and slow roll it anyway.
Of course. Oh, of course. Especially me. Yeah, especially this kind of an idea. Yeah,
this guy, I saw that video.
10 years later, we're going to get the final approval.
Right.
But what we wanted to do is we wanted to be able to create our movement a little bit larger. And what we want to be able to do is, since there is all sorts of inclusion stickers in the schools that don't include about 80% of the student body,
right,
we wanted to be able to provide a way for our children and our communities to feel proud. Mm-hmm. So with some of the money that I was able to raise on behalf of myself, I've donated every dollar into Florida Straits, and we're going to be printing materials for the schools, shirts for folks to wear to display their pride. So that way it's not a one-sided pride.
Right.
We've got hats, bags, all sorts of good stuff that's going to be coming out here soon. And really exciting news is we've been partnering up a little bit with Brave Books, which is one of the largest Christian publishers in America.
Great.
Kirk Cameron from Growing Pains is a writer for them as well. And so we got some pretty exciting things that we're trying to put together there as well, to where we can not only provide the, accessories and garment type idea, but we can also have very good, wholesome books that also preserve traditional values that we can ask to be introduced into school, to sit alongside of some of these books like Gender Queer, which is basic pornography in cartoon form, and Lawn Boy, which is another terrible book. I remember when I had seen it. And this is how these folks operate: is on face value, everything looks totally kosher, but when you dig in, that's where you start seeing it snuck in, and it's snuck in everywhere. And this Lawn Boy thing's talking about giving oral sex to a grown man. It's grotesque. It's grotesque.
It is.
And we do need to curtail it. And as adults, if you want to chop your leg off and call yourself Skippy, that's fine. I could care less. You do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But when we bring it into children's, it's an issue. But you did mention a mental illness, and I find it funny is body dysmorphic disorder. Body dysmorphic disorder is when you feel like you have a limb or an attachment that doesn't belong, and you want it removed. There's some people that want to be
transabled.
amputees.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, a lady put bleach in her eyes because she thought she'd be better off blind. You know,
you want to talk about a twit, but but if you go to the doctor and you say, "Hey, I got this issue. I don't want my arm." Dude, this thing's freaking ridiculous. Let me just get rid of the whole damn thing. Let me get it out of here. The doctor's going to say, hey, all right, let's talk about this. Let's figure out why, and let's come to a solution.
They need, not
but if
the
you say,
help
hey,
they want.
I got this pecker. No, get rid of it. Get rid of it. No, get rid of it, and let's put it on Facebook so we can get some extra dopamine likes.
Right, and then eventually
well, she's a guy, so
yeah, exactly. And it's the same thing. The gender dysphoria has also been talked about as the same type of people who deal with anorexia. When this skinny person looks in the mirror and all they see is a fat person. Well, it's the same type of neurons in your brain, that is telling you you're not right. And unfortunately, again, even the people that do transition, they will still look in the mirror and it still won't be enough for them. And that's I mean, I feel for these people. It is sad that they're going through that. You don't want anybody going through these mental issues, but it's about getting them the right help. And in your case, and what you're trying to do and say is like, look, if you're having these clubs, this pride stuff in the schools, don't shun the heterosexual people.
Right.
Because like you said, it's the majority. It's still the majority. No matter what, it's still the majority. I'm sorry. You have to procreate to
it's always going to be the majority because that's the only way that babies are made.
Exactly.
So, but the kids are shamed, and they're silenced. And we've got a lot of comments from the alphabet clan saying things like, well, you have one, it's cisgender. And it's that's an insult.
No, it is an insult.
And I've been talking to a lot of people about it. I haven't met one heterosexual person that says, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. We're not. So you're lumping them into, you're saying, here's a category and here's your options, and you have no options other than these. And that's not something that's going to benefit our children. When we were younger, we had we had the goth kids, and we had that group, when
it's
you were the shunned group.
Mom.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I had Jinko jeans that were 42 inches on the bottom. It was like wearing 2 full-size dresses on my legs. I had chain wallets dipping down. I loved Nirvana at the time, so I had my little pinky, I had to paint it black so that way I could be, cool like Kurt Cobain. And I had long hair, never washed it. Why? Because it wasn't cool to be clean. It was a phase. It was a phase. And had I grown up in today's day and age, the group that now you're when you're feeling, a little bit low about yourself, I mean, they celebrate the heck out of you. All you got to do,
and they pull you into that. It is, I mean, Tim Pool talks about this. The leftism and this left ideology, it's a cult. It is a cult. And it's sad that they pull in these poor people that are looking. What are kids? Kids are looking to fit in. No matter what, they are looking to just fit in. Don't tease me. Let me be part of the group. I was homeschooled my whole life, and they talk about socialization. I got enough socialization. I was around a lot of adults. I can talk to a lot of adults better than even kids my age can talk to adults. But it can be isolating. So when you're with other kids, what do kids want? They just want to belong. So when they're just constantly being force fed all of this nonsense of, you could be trans, you could be asexual, you could be a cat, what are they going to do? They're just going to soak it all in because they're told it's the cool thing to do.
It's trendy. It's a trend right now. And if you just, people don't like to look at numbers and data, but if you just look at the data from the boomer generation all the way up to the current Gen Z that we're at right now, the LGBTQ plus population has been doubling. And that's not indicative of people finally just coming out. I mean, we're 20, 30 years into the coming out movement. Right. This is now a pop culture trend. And we need to acknowledge that. And we need to ask questions. But unfortunately, you can't ask any questions right now because of it's corporate America, it's media. I mean, they're all bought in and sold into this. And if you look at the dollar signs attached to that too, a lot of it's marketability. A lot of it's sales, and a lot of it's dollars. So what we want to try to do as Florida Straights and Brave Books and a lot of the great companies that are out there that are trying to help this is we want the equal celebration. Because there are children that are confused.
Where is Straight White Guy Day?
I keep getting told all the time that the reason why it's Pride Month is because every single day of the rest of the year is Straight Pride Month. I wasn't really aware of that, but I'll tell you, starting July 1st, we're celebrating Straight Pride Day every day. Because we need that celebration. We need it.
Speaking of Pride Month, real quick, DJ Freedom Rockets, who I love, I follow him on Instagram. You can follow him on Twitter, wherever. He always has a lot of good insights. He tweeted this out yesterday. He said, they might as well cancel Pride Month, a.k.a. Groomer Month at this point. The people have spoken, and we reject all things homosexual. It's unfortunate it's come to this point. We are really turning back to traditionalism, and it's wonderful to see. Keep fighting back. We are winning. And it's true, because we are in this war, this big culture war of what's happening. And hopefully it starts with just let it be equal. Let it be equal. It's all you're asking for with Florida Straights.
Equal celebration. Give us something to celebrate. We want to be able to feel like, hey, this is who I am. I have traditional values. It's okay. And you can be okay with it too. Come on down, enjoy yourselves, just like you can there. I mean, we do not take an anti-homosexual stance. I mean, I do take a stance against things that are pushed just for pop culture. And
that's the whole point, is they have to stop pushing it on children.
Exactly. Because it's like I've told my kids, you know, if any one of my sons end up gay, I know they're going to be legitimately gay because of the way that we've raised them. And if you're legitimately gay, then I have absolutely no problem with that, as long as it wasn't pushed by pop culture.
Exactly.
There's just one rule, and that's at any family picnics. I don't really want them having hot dogs or popsicles. I don't need that image, but but nothing against it. Nothing against them. I mean, everybody has the right to get out there and enjoy themselves. We've got actually a lot of support. We've gotten some support from some gay community members as well.
There's the whole Gays Against Groomers community.
Yep.
And it's the whole point. And Dave Chappelle had the bit, you know, the L's, the G's, and the B's will rue the day that they let the T's into the club. And that has been coming to fruition, unfortunately. And
well, some of our gay friends, that they're not happy with that added extra letters onto that, because that doesn't represent what they've stood for. That it doesn't represent what they believe. And it's so weird talking to some of them. Is like a buddy of mine I was having a conversation with who's of that community, and he's like, you know, we feel like we were kind of hijacked, you know. This is not what we fought for. We fought for our equal rights and celebrations, which is absolutely fair, and they should have it. But then you start getting into the mental illness side of it,
and then it's never enough. No. It's never enough. They always want more, which we're going to dive into a little bit more after this break. But folks, if you're enjoying the show, let us know. Send us an email, mikeimbasciani1@gmail.com. Only the nice emails. Come on, he's getting all the hate mail, but you don't have to send me any hate mail. It's okay. And if you're watching this on Rumble, thank you, and make sure you subscribe to the Rumble page, and you can join the locals community. There's a little red button that says join right there on Rumble. You can hit that and check out the locals community. It's just $5 a month, and you can get 1 month free with promo code FreedomCow. A lot of exclusive content. Mr. Lovejoy had his first rant on there a little while ago, and that was a good one. So you check that out on locals. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the Freedom Chronicles YouTube channel, but then take it over to Rumble, because we don't know how long, you know, some of these episodes are going to last on YouTube. And the Dave Landau video hit 10,000 views. So thank you for all the support on especially that video. Go check out the other videos there on YouTube and Rumble. And like I said, subscribe. That's what helps the most. Subscribe, hit that like button, comment down below, and share it with your friends, what it's all about. We had a great show last night, the Simply Clapton show over at Vasani, and we'll be back there in August. You can go to vasani.net for tickets for that show. My band, Mike Imbasciani and his Blues Rockers, playing all over the place. Check out the website, mikeimbasciani.com, for the full show schedule. Check this out from last night. This is Lay Down Sally.
Don't you think you want someone to talk to? all night long just to talk to you.
There you go. a little Lay Down Sally for you. That was a fun show. It was a good time out there. So we'll get into our Patriot and Trader of the Week and get to what stories we have time left for. And don't forget, folks, as well, this show is sponsored by the Local Meat Club by Tyrone and Marcella Jackson, based out of Columbus, Ohio. You can go to localmeatclub.com using the affiliate link in the description down below and use promo code FreedomCow, all caps, so that they know that we sent you. Members can choose from fantastic locally raised and hormone-free aged Angus ground beef, ribeye steaks, breakfast sausage, bacon, and even raw butter and raw milk. Try the family week's worth package that includes breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Join the club and experience the difference that fresh, life-supporting food makes. Use the link in the description. Use promo code FreedomCow, localmeatclub.com. So who is your Patriot of the Week, sir?
I would have to say for the past couple weeks, and this one and probably many more moving forward, would be MTG.
Yeah.
She constantly keeps bringing it, and she's doing everything she said she would do, and she's trying to tear down the corruption. So as far as I'm concerned, she's probably going to hold that title for a little while.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I mean, she's the only one that has gone really to visit the poor people in the January 6th gulag there. And she just filed for the articles impeachment against Biden. So hopefully that gains some steam, because if they can impeach Trump over nothing, they certainly have plenty to impeach Biden over.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's not hard to trip them up. Just put them in front of a staircase.
Going up or down. I'm going to give mine to Daniel Penny. We have this. Ted Nugent put this out. It said, "Don't blame the sheepdog for killing the wolf. Blame the wolf for threatening the flock." And I'll give it to Daniel Penny, because he was a guy who was a Marine, and he's on the subway, and people have become sheep. There was an incident that just happened at one of those big famous fountains. I don't remember the name of it, but in Italy, and all these climate protesters, fossil fuel protesters, go out into the fountain. They're dumping all this black ink, standing. There's probably like 10 or 15 of them there, holding up their sign, end fossil fuels. And they pan the camera around, and you see these hundreds of people, if not thousands of people, at this tourist attraction. Now, they're dumping out stuff out of backpacks. There could be a bomb in there. There could be other, worse things to dump in a fountain like that than black ink. But there's these thousands of sheep standing there doing nothing but filming it. When, if there's 15 of them, 30 people could pull them all out of the fountain and get them out of the way. That's a tourist monument there. Where's the police? And that has shown that it takes patriots like Daniel Penny, who is now being brought down by the system, being charged with manslaughter, and they're going to try to throw everything they can at him. I mean, he's facing tons of years in prison for taking down a threat when people felt threatened in the subway. And it takes people to stand up. During the song there, we were having that conversation of, the founding fathers put everything they had on the line for the country that didn't even really exist yet. And this MAGA movement, Make America Great Again. America was great based upon what the founding fathers put into place and what they were willing to sacrifice themselves for, their life, fortune, and sacred honor. And people have forgotten that. And it takes true patriots like Daniel Penny and other people to actually, and what you're doing and standing up. And one person can change at least his area. It may not be able to change the world, but it takes people to stand up. I'm not brave for doing this show. You're not brave for doing what you're doing. It's the act of being a patriotic person.
It's our duty.
It is our duty.
It's our duty. When I was in the military, it was the oath that I swore.
Yeah.
It's what we're supposed to do.
Definitely. Yeah. And, I get emotional thinking about it, and because of how far things have fallen, and it's important for people to remember that it is duty of standing up for your country and what is right with the world.
And a message to all those folks is there is support on this side of the fence as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of threats. They've got this army of pink-haired, overweight women from Connecticut that can sit behind a computer for 3.5 days straight trying to dox and find. Unfortunately, a lot of us have jobs and responsibilities.
Had a job.
Well, yeah, my case had a job.
Right.
But it's taken that leap. It's taken that leap of faith. I've had a lot of folks reach out, and I'm certainly not going to be destitute. I can figure out how to make things happen, and so can you.
Yeah.
And so can everybody else out here listening, is take the steps to start being patriots.
Yeah.
Sitting behind a keyboard isn't going to do it.
No.
You're going to
Don't
go
be
out.
afraid
Target,
to stand
it's
up.
great. Don't go to Target. But you know
Yeah.
what? Call the management. Start writing some letters. Target opened up their bathrooms for anybody that wants to use it.
Yeah.
So, and I've done this twice. So I'll put my money where my mouth is. Go to Target as a man and take a dump in a woman's room. You want it, you get it. This is what we got to do.
Go.
It's enough of sitting down and hoping that somebody else is going to step aside. It's like you said with the Daniel
Penny. Yeah.
Daniel Penny case. With that is nobody else really jumped in.
Right.
And everybody just sits and watches. They just hope that somebody else is going to go ahead and take it and run with it.
Well, and the two other people who did jump in, they were both black, by the way, and nobody wants to talk about that.
You can't talk about that. No,
right?
That's not allowed.
Yeah.
It's the silence culture. It's the cancel culture. They're using a lot of projection. A lot of the things that they themselves are guilty of, they accuse others, so that way they can virtue signal to feel as if it's better. If you say something bad, I spoke about equality for children in school, and apparently that makes me racist,
right.
Homophobic, and all the other istophobes that come on out there, and it's ridiculous. And I think people are kind of getting tired of it, of getting those same things thrown at you.
And that's why you're seeing more and more people stand up, and that's what it takes, folks. You just have to stand up.
Yeah, you got to do it. You got to get out there. And if you want, you don't want to get your voice out there, then start supporting some folks that do.
Yeah.
We've got a website, floridastraits.com, explains everything that we've got going on. And if you want to help contribute, you can help contribute, and I'll keep getting fired. Let's go with it.
Exactly. Yep. You got to keep.
Let's do it.
Keep
I'm in this war to win it. I want my children to grow up, and I want my grandchildren to be able to grow up without the culture wars in their education systems.
Yes.
And although we were willing to provide stickers and everything to support our traditional values, the end solution is to keep it out of the school. Keep it out of the school. 1 + 1
be in the school at all.
Teach adjectives. Teach real pronouns, not constructed ones, and do things that are going to help our children create a better society for us moving forward.
Yes.
Yeah, I would much rather my son spend 13 hours of the school out of the school year instead of learning about histories of oppressions and start teaching
and how it's his fault because he's white.
Of course, which is ridiculous, because I mean, I was born in New Jersey in 1981, and I never had that experience. I never had, I was never played a part to any of that.
Yeah.
In fact, our ancestors aren't even from this country, so we had nothing to do with that. But
exactly.
it's a one size fits all thing, though. Just because we were born of a certain skin color, then we're automatically, wait a minute.
That sounds like racism.
That sounds like racism.
Wait a minute.
Holy jeez. It's phenomenal, the crap that they throw at it. You got the folks on the left constantly shouting racist, but I believe that they were the ones that founded the KKK.
Yes, they were.
I do believe that they opposed equal rights for women, and also opposed
every single anti-slavery law.
But they don't want to.
But
we can't acknowledge that.
So who is your traitor of the week? I know there's a lot to pick from.
All right. Well, this one, I got to have a disclaimer.
Okay.
He is by far my favorite governor that has ever been. I think he is phenomenal, and I think you already know where I'm going. But
yes, I do.
Ron DeSantis is unfortunately would be my traitor.
See, Lovejoy's not here, and that would have been his. So you took his spot well today.
Well, I love the guy, but he's not a dumb man.
No, he's not.
And the writing is clear on the wall. The only thing that this is going to do is split a ticket in a very, very, very critical time in our country, to where our ship is sailing so far off to the left. We need to start bringing it back to the center.
And it needs to be, not only that, it needs to be scorched earth. That's why Trump needs to get in. He needs to fire every single person, the heads of these, three-lettered agencies, and all the middle managers who are the ones who screwed him over the first time. They all need to go. And unfortunately, DeSantis will not be that person to do that. He is the establishment pick. He's being backed by all of those establishment people who are giving him that money and whispering in his ear, now's your chance. You could take down Trump. You could do it. But he can't do it, because when it comes to it, even when you watched the debate between DeSantis and Charlie Crist, he was shaking. It's not going to go well with DeSantis and Trump.
No, and Chris is like 2'3".
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this guy's 3 times that size.
Right.
Now, I think Trump needs to take it. I mean, I kind of look at him like Batman.
Baby.
You know, he's not the hero that we wanted, but he is the one that we deserve.
Exactly.
And his brazen tactics might come across inappropriate at some times, but look at some of the other world leaders that we're dealing with, like Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin.
You got to be able to
Kim
go
Jong-un.
toe to toe with these
You've
people.
got to be able to stand there, and you've got to be able to flex a brass pair against theirs, and that they can look back at you and say, yeah, you know what, this guy's got us set.
Exactly.
You know, we got the sock puppet that we got running the office right now. I mean, I haven't fact checked this, so I'm going to probably get a whole bunch of emails.
We're
off
not
of this,
CNN. So.
I'm pretty sure he pooped himself in front of the Pope. I think
There was
I read
that, yeah.
correct? I think
Right,
I read that, and he also referred to him as like a baseball player. I mean, the guy's cognitive ability is not much higher than you know, somebody. Well, who's as old as he is. I think he's like 115 by now.
Feels like it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's.
I'm sure he feels like it too.
Yeah, I think it's time. I think we got our laughs out of him. It was nice, and I think it's time for him to sail to the wayside. And I think Mr. DeSantis would probably throw his support behind somebody that can actually win this for our country. And if he picked up the tails in 2028. We might actually have a chance of bringing our country back.
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to
Like I said, he should have just wait till
just
28. Yeah, but I love Trump's response to DeSantis's announcement because he basically announced last night. I mean, as you're watching this episode, if you're watching it tonight as it airs at 6 p.m., that's the same time DeSantis is announcing. But he already announced, he jumped the shark. His marketing team sucks, and he essentially leaked it out yesterday. And I love Trump's response. This is one of the most out-of-touch campaign launches in modern history. The only thing less relatable than a niche campaign launch on Twitter is DeSantis' after party at the Uber Elite Four Seasons Resort in Miami. Of course, it doesn't say, it'd be better at Mar-a-Lago, but that's where my party's going to be because we're ultra mega. We're ultra mega, baby.
Tremendous.
But no, it's exactly. And we'll see what happens. And actually, folks, since the news is coming out at 6 o'clock, go on to Locals, become a member of the Freedom Chronicles Locals community, just $5 a month. Use promo code FreedomCow, get 1 month free. I'm going to do a little live stream. I haven't done a live stream yet on Locals. So go on, let's say around 7 o'clock. The announcement will be over by then. We'll get all the fun little comments. So I'll go live on Locals tonight at 7 Eastern. So join Locals so you can check it out, and we'll do a little live reaction to the DeSantis announcement. So quickly, my trader of the week goes out to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and Babylon B had a good one here. Los Angeles Dodgers surpassed the Cowboys as the gayest team in sports now. Ayo. And they put out this. This was Matt Walsh's response. One thing you have to understand in order to make sense of this LA Dodgers story is that drag queens have officially become a protected class. They are essentially their own gender, yet another fetish that has become an identity. Turning fetishes into identities is the great project of modern leftism, and it's all these people care about. And the Dodgers actually put out an apology because they were originally going to have the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence come out to the stadium for their Pride Night, and then they uninvited them, but now they're going to invite them back again. And they said, after much thoughtful feedback from our diverse communities, honest conversations within the Los Angeles Dodgers organization, and generous discussions with the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, the Los Angeles Dodgers would like to offer our sincerest apologies to the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, members of the LGBT alphabet clan community, and their friends and families. We have asked the Sisters of, you can read it for yourself, pause and read it. It's disgusting. You know, they're allowing, and then go. I'm not going to play it on the show. All you have to do is scroll down Instagram, go follow DC Drano or the Typical Liberal, and see the video that they put up of what these Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence do. And it's sick. And it has no place. It certainly has no place in the kids community, and baseball is supposed to be a family event. So, you know, kids are going to be at these events, and it's not right. And there's quite an uphill battle. But Jason, thank you. Thank you for standing up for what's right. FloridaStraights.com. Check them out, folks, and go support. All you have to do, go to a meeting. If you're in the Southwest Florida area, go to a Sarasota School Board meeting, go to a Charlotte County School Board meeting. Let your voice be heard. Anything you'd like to add?
I mean, just to piggyback off of what you said, I mean, just from what happened with the Dodgers, the amount of outpouring that they had received that made them change their mind. Keep in mind that this group is no more than 20%.
Yeah.
So that means the 80% of that 80% did nothing, said nothing. They just went, sat about it, talked about it, bitched about it.
Yeah.
couple things on the keyboard and they feel justified, punch the clown, go to sleep. Yeah, that's not how we need to do this. You need contact them. It's a 5-minute phone call. It's a 2-minute email. It's maybe an hour or two out of your afternoon to go and speak with somebody. It's showing up to support somebody that you agree with and you support. Yep. And it's speaking, to the management of these places and saying why and where's our representation? Where is the equality truly here? Because it is not true equality. And if that's what we want, then that's what we need.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Folks, thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Remember, hit that like button, subscribe on Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, all that. Share with your friends because that's doing your part too. Share the show out. Send it to people that you agree with. Send it to people you don't agree with. It's about changing minds and stand up. We will not bend. We will not break. We will not yield ever. Steven Crowder, I love this shirt. Jason, thank you for joining. FloridaStraits.com. Check it out. Go join the locals community. And from the bunker, good night, everybody.
You're watching Conservative Television of America, working hard to stick socialism where the sun don't shine.